my opinion, I think the Snyder Cut would be great to see, but I do not think Warner Brothers will ever release it. But Kevin Smith, respected famed director and writer Kevin Smith, says he thinks Warner Brothers would be stupid not to release it. And he's also, pretty adamant that it exists. I think the Snyder Cut exists too, but apparently there's a lot of people who do not think it exists. I didn't know that until recently because I thought it was obvious that the Snyder Cut existed because there had to be a version of Justice League that Warner Brothers wanted to change, right? Or else they would have never brought on Joss Whedon to modify stuff. So I thought it was like a no-brainer that the Snyder Cut existed, but I guess there's a lot of people who didn't think that. But he was on a Cinema Blend podcast where he talked a lot about it, and I'm going to read his quotes here. This is Kevin Smith here. I've not seen it firsthand, and also to be clear, I know Zack, but it's not like, we're effing tight, son. That being said, I've spoken now to enough people at various levels in that production. There is a Snyder Cut, for sure. That's not a mythical beast. It exists. Now, it's not a finished movie by any stretch of the imagination. There were things that went away from the story that they shot that they didn't wind up going into, visual effects or anything like that. So I would assume, based on what I've been told, that large sections of the Snyder Cut, are, pre-viz, with a lot of green screen. We're not talking a finished movie. When people hear Snyder Cut in their heads, they think about like a DVD they've seen of an extended cut or something that's finished. The Snyder Cut that, again, I haven't seen, but the one I've heard everyone speak of was never a finished film. It was a movie that people in production could watch and fill in the blanks. It was certainly not meant for mass consumption. Kevin Smith thinks that audiences can handle the Snyder Cut as just a different edition or, just like another modified version of Justice League that the audience could accept is not canon to the DCEU as it is or it's going to be in the future, which I think would work. They would have to. Because again, the reason I think Warner Brothers would not want to release a Snyder Cut is because it goes against the version of the DCU that they're trying to go with now, right? They wanted to shift away from Zack Snyder's Justice or DCEU, so they wouldn't want to release a version of that, of a movie that's, firmly ensconced in that version. That's why I don't think they will ever release it. But, as Kevin Smith is saying, if they were going to do it, just framing it as an alternate edition or, special feature or whatever is a way they could do it so the audience can understand, this isn't part of the main DCEU. I'm sure people would already know that, but just to hit it home, I guess. And here's what he says about that. I feel confident that the audience could handle that cut of the movie without being like, I think there's a common thought process, probably within the studio, and again, no studio has said this to me, but I would assume that they're like, we can't show people this. Yes, there is a Snyder Cut, but no audience would be able to look at this and see what the director's intent was. I disagree. That would seem like common wisdom because everyone always wants to put their best foot forward. But I think the audience now, particularly the audience that would consume the Snyder Cut and discuss it at great length, can watch a work print. They can watch a work in progress and fill in the blanks in their heads. So basically, he's saying they should release the unfinished version of the Snyder Cut, which I guess that could definitely work as an alternate version, but I don't know. Would they want to release an unfinished version? I think it'd be better to finish it. But again, if they had to spend money to finish it, that would make them less likely to release it because they would have to invest money in a version of a movie they don't really want to release anyway. So I guess, releasing the unfinished cut is the best way. Like, if you want the Snyder Cut to be released, the easiest way for that to happen is to accept that, it has green screen and stuff. Because if Warner Brothers has to spend money to do more work on it, then it's less likely to ever get released. So, releasing it as it is, I think, is the best way to actually see it. Every studio likes to make money. They do multiple incarnations of movies on video all the time. This could just be one more of those. All they have to do is lend their audience a little more credence to be like, look, they'll get it. Put up a bunch of effing disclaimers, including one from Zack himself at the head of it going, obviously the movie wasn't finished, but here's what we were thinking. There's definitely a way to do it. They could definitely shoot a version of that flick where, they put Snyder into it explaining what would have went there. What went there. So there we have it. Kevin Smith's thoughts on the whole Snyder Cut situation, debacle, scenario, however you want to frame it. I personally do not think the Snyder Cut will ever see the light of day, but if it is, I think it won't happen until after, I think a big decision maker is going to be Ann Sarnoff, the lady who's about to become the head of Warner Brothers, who has not assumed that job yet. I think her first day at work starts late August, later this month. So, you know, we'll see what she thinks. I'm sure she might already have an opinion at this point, but, you know, if she decides she wants to release the Snyder Cut, it wouldn't happen until after she starts her first day of work in late August. So if the Snyder Cut is not released somewhere around then, I don't think so. I mean, if it doesn't happen before the end of this year or, you know, within the next year, I mean, I don't think it's ever going to happen. But, you know, that's just what I think. I mean, what do you think? Do you think there's a chance Warner Brothers will ever release a Snyder Cut? And if so, when do you think they would do it? Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.